Could you please tell us about where you are from and about your childhood?
I was born in Pétionville, Haiti. It's a suburb of the capital, a little north of Port-au-Prince. I lived in Haiti until July of 1980 when I emigrated to the United States. So I did my elementary classes, high school classes in Haiti, and I did go to vocational school for 2 years after my high school in Haiti, which took us to July 1980, and that's when I emigrated to the United States, specifically New York City.
Mm-hmm. Did your interest in cars begin in 80 during your schooling there as well, or did you...
Not at all.
Not at all? Okay.
Not at all. We had a car in the family. I didn't know how to drive. I was too young, okay? So my older brother, he was driving the car, basically, and my dad, okay? I never had the chance to learn how to drive in Haiti. Like I said, I was too young, so cars was not an interest as I was growing up. My interest was soccer. You know, everybody in the country, as a young man, you love soccer. You want to be associated with the sport. So my goal in life when I was a kid, believe it or not, was to be a journalist. And to be a journalist reporting on sport, specifically soccer, right? Do reporting, mostly writing, not on TV per se, but that's what I wanted to do. I always wanted to go to France and be a journalist and report on sport, but that never materialized, unfortunately. My goal, because I knew I couldn't be a journalist and go to France, the goal was to be an electrical engineer. Okay. I never did very bad in math, in physics, when I was going to school in Haiti. So, since the last 2 years of high school, the goal was to be an electrical engineer, providing that I was able to emigrate to the United States. So, in 1980, when I came, I had to look for a school where electrical engineering was the field that I chose even before I came. And that's what I did in 1980 when I came.
I want to ask you, especially since you went to a city like New York, which has this blended and diverse community, what was the makeup like? So in your class that you were with the NIT, what was the makeup of the classmates like? Other African Americans, Haitian, any others?
Yeah, there were quite a few people from the Caribbean. I was quite surprised. There were quite a few people from Jamaica, I remember specifically. And also some Haitian were there, and we did have white folks also. But we had quite a few, that was quite a surprise that quite a few people from the Caribbean were going to that school. I don't know where that link, Caribbean to New York Institute of Technology was, but it was there, and you couldn't ignore it,
So you felt very much at home then?
Yeah, we had quite a few Haitian and Jamaican. Okay, although I didn't speak English very well, and these guys from Jamaica, they had a real thick accent. I couldn't speak it very well, but yes, I ended up having friends from Jamaica while I was going at New York Institute of Technology. Right. Now, like I said, the link between the Caribbean and New York Institute of Technology, I don't know where it came from, but how can you have so many people from the Caribbean and they ended up in the same school? That was amazing. I have no idea.
So what was your first job in the auto industry?
My first job was with electronic data system. that is a I forgot how you say that, but it's a computer company that did data processing for most of the big company in the United States. So I was assigned to General Motors at that time I was living in Rochester, New York. That's where I went for my first job. So we were doing data processing for General Motors, specifically a plant in Rochester, in Rochester, New York. Okay, and the plant was called Rochester Products. So it's a plant where they made carburetors for vehicle, because at that time injectors was the new technology that was coming to replace the carburetors in vehicle. But it was in a transition phase, so they were still building carburetors at the time to install in vehicle. So we were maintaining all the data processing at that plant, okay, for General Motors. Yeah, that was the first job. And then I moved to Detroit. I had some friends in Detroit, and they told me, man, it's wonderful. The auto industry is here. All the big companies are here. You can have a good career here in Detroit. Join us, and no problem. So I had a friend, and I stayed with him when I came here. And when I landed my first job here, then I was able to move on my own and get my own apartment. Yeah.
How easy or difficult was it to be hired in Detroit? It seems the way there were circumstances with your friends who encouraged you to apply.
When I came to Detroit, I was under the impression, because my friends told me, oh, we have the big three here, easy.
Mm-hmm.
No problem, you can get a career, no problem. So when I first came, I started sending my resume for General Motors, Chrysler, and other supplier companies, and I never got an answer. And I was kind of discouraged. So I ended up working jobs not related to my field of electrical engineering. I was doing security. I did security guard.
Mm.
Okay. I worked in a factory that was making fasteners for General Motors. And one day I remember I was out with a friend, and we met someone from the Detroit area that I didn't even know. And I told him about what I was doing and what was my background. And he says, come on, you're doing it the wrong way. I told him I'm sending resume left and right, and I couldn't get a job any place. I don't know what's going on. He says, no. There is a way you get in the auto industry in Michigan. The first thing you do is you go to a contract house, okay? And it's very easy to put your resume in a contract house. And the contract house is here to go to the big company and get you in, okay? But you're not working for those big companies, whether it's GM, at the time Chrysler and Ford, or any big supplier company like Delphi or whatever. So he said, you have to get your foot in the door. And once you get your foot in the door, then these companies will assess you after a year and a half. They like what they see. They like the productivity of the employee. Then they will make you an offer. So lo and behold, I go to a contract house. I forgot the name of the first contract house that I went. I think it's Balatech, the company was called. So I go there and give my resume. After 2 weeks, they placed me at Chrysler in Highland Park, Michigan. Mm-hmm. I remember my first reaction. I said, oh my God, I hit the jackpot. I was getting paid $15 an hour. And I was making like $5 or $6 an hour at that fastener company. So my salary overnight doubled. And I said, oh my God, I'm rich. I remember I said that, But that's how I got my foot in the door at Chrysler. And after about a year and a half, like the gentleman told me, after a year and a half, I had an interview with Ford Motor Company, and I had another interview with General Motors while I was contract at Chrysler. And both companies made me offer. So I had an offer from General Motors, I had an offer from Chrysler, and I was a contract employee from Bartek at Chrysler. So I went to the human resource person at Chrysler and I said, well, I think I'm leaving because I got job offers at GM and Ford. I haven't even decided which one I'm going to take, but I'm leaving Chrysler. And the guy told me, no, you're not leaving anywhere. We already looked at you. We like you as an employee. You can't leave, I said, well, I never got an offer. I'm leaving. And the next week or so, I had an offer from Chrysler. And at the time that I had the offer at Chrysler, the company wasn't doing too well at Highland Park. So some people told me, man, you should take the job at either GM or Ford. I said, no, I'm going to stick with Chrysler. If they make me an offer, and they didn't have to make me an offer because the company was going through very tough economic times, they still made me an offer, I'm staying with them. You know what? It turned out pretty good because I'm still with them today.
Could you please tell us about any influential mentors?
At Chrysler, they have a mentorship program. They do have that. But I never participated in the mentorship program. And there's a specific reason why I never participated. Like I told you before, I grew up in Haiti. It was a dictatorship. Even as a kid, and as you grow up, you see things in Haiti that weren't pretty. There are families that got hurt under the dictatorship. And at that time, it wasn't very difficult for someone to get hurt, even if you weren't in politics. All it takes at that time is for someone else to go and to someone in the government and say, this guy said this, and you're done, you're toast. So in Haiti, you gotta be careful. If you have friends, you don't trust friends like, you're always careful on what you do and what you say. So that stayed with me as a young man and even as an adult. That social justice that you see, with in this country, I think it resides also in the workplace. It doesn't matter what company. It resides in the workplace also. So one of the things that I've seen, for example, at Stellantis, and I think it's very, very good that it's applied, is they do have meetings with any employee, okay? And they call these meetings courageous conversation. And you can bring anything that bothers you, whether it's inside the company or in general in the world or in the United States or anything like that. So I think it's great because when I started, we didn't have that in the company. Okay, a forum where, you could speak freely without, very important, without any reprisal, that you could get fired for saying this in a forum. And I think for the fact that they initiated this, maybe it happens at Ford, GM, I don't know, but the fact that we do it at Stellantis, I think it's really, really positive to talk about whatever that is bothering, whether it's from a social justice or any subjects in general that bothers you. Okay, whether it's with the workplace, whether it's in your private life, if you want to share it, people are willing to listen. I think it's really, really fantastic. Okay.
Would you like to share with us some of your thoughts on where the auto industry is going today?
Oh, good question. Right now, the industry is going electric. So whether you take General Motors or all the other companies, they have either electric vehicle, pure electric vehicle, or hybrid electric vehicle. Okay? And I think it's going to go that way in the future. I think at one point you're going to see the combustion engine. It's going to disappear. I really believe that. I don't know if I'll be working at Chrysler still when that happens, but I think it will happen, that you will have electric vehicle. Number two, I think autonomous vehicle is a very real possibility, because we're working at Chrysler or Ford GM, they're all working on some form of autonomy, okay, for vehicle. We have them in our cars today. Whether you have blind spot, park assist, parallel perpendicular, these are some form of autonomy in the vehicle. It's not to the point where you can say, hey, Rudy, you're going to 1452 Randolph Street and you are in Auburn Hills, and you say, take me there, and the car does it for you. We're not there yet, true. But there are some form of autonomy in the vehicle today. Now, the technology is there to take it even higher, but the infrastructure has to be there. For example, whether it's adaptive cruise control, whether it's recognizing a sign that tells you what the vehicle speed should be, and the vehicle slows down automatically based on the sign. And it's really high-tech, very high-tech, to be able to work in that environment. You have to go to school to learn that stuff. You know, I'm not saying you have to know programming for say, but it's one aspect of it. But in order to use those equipment, okay, to know that the vehicle is going to perform according to specification, it's a great opportunity for the kids today to get into that. You know, and today's kids, they all know computers very well. So to me, that's a natural evolution to go from, you know, using computer on a daily basis. You can go in engineering and use it, you know, in an environment like that where you work on simulation for these autonomous technologies.